Time to welcome our market master for the day, Vineet Bhatnagar, the managing director of Phillip Capital, joins us to talk about that. Hi Vineet, good morning. As per your prognosis, the market has actually been consolidating in a very tight range. But do you think the second half of the August series will also pan out like this? Volatility but within a very narrow range?
No, I think we are actually starting to lean towards alongside of the market, and that's therefore a possible breakout. What we have been observing is that the market has moved in a sideways consolidating manner almost after 16th May, which was the result announcement for the new government. And this period has actually allowed everyone to actually notice a few things. One, while the market was moving sideways, whenever there were corrective phases of the market was not falling with very large volumes. And therefore, it did not look like a correction that can go very far. At one point in time, there was a prognosis that it could go as down as 7,200, but it never happened. In fact, after Friday last week, what we have started making a thesis is that if on a closing basis, market continues to close for 3 days in a row above 7630, which is almost this entire week, we should actually be hitting towards the previous high of 7800 and beyond.
How soon can this breakout take place if we close above, that 76, 20, 40 level, which we're quite likely to close? We're already above that 7700 mark. How soon can the breakout take place? And is there strength in the market to take us even past our previous highs of 7840?
Yes, that is exactly what we are looking at, and my own sense is that it should come out sooner than later. Clearly, the moment it crosses 7835 or 7840, which was the previous high, there is going to be a follow-on buying, which will be, which should be very strong for Nifty or the market to, gain about 100 points in no time. The reason I think that it is going to happen sooner or later is because of the the behavior and the way the positions are stacking up right now. If one were to look at, for example, the FIIs and the way they have built up their position in the derivative segment alone, it would point towards that long bias that I was mentioning earlier. For example, in the index future, from a time when they were a net long of $460 million, it became a net short, although of a very small number of $60 million. Yesterday, market closed with a net long once again with $260 million in index future. On the put side, there is a protection, but FII seem to have sold puts, which indicates that they are looking at the market not to fall beyond 7600. On the call side, they have bought long calls, so they are looking at market to go beyond 7800 and 8000 being the largest call where the concentration is. So, and of course, there was buying even in the underlying cash market, although not much. These are all symptomatic of a market to go beyond 7800 sooner.
So where do you think the leadership could come from, Vineet? Because if you map the trajectory this month, we've seen some, different avenues of leadership. So autos, the names like M&M, Tata Motors, Maruti are all up about 4 to 10% this month itself. What are you betting on?
Okay, so the pockets of strength are visible in the front lines, which is multi-sectoral. But if one were to look at sectoral wise strength, one is looking at oil and gas, which did well over the last 2 days. Auto did well, of course, on the back of very good results for Tata Motor, thanks to the JLR in China. There is continued strength that we are seeing in M&M and Maruti as an underlying bullishness of an economy that will come out. You also saw the strength in Eicher Motors. We are positive on ancillary or secondary sectors supporting autos, such as Exide Industries, quite a lot. If you look at where the strength from the front line will come, we are quite bullish on Reliance Industries, Bharati, ONGC, all of them. Bank Nifty, which also took a beating, during the consolidation phase, may come about, to show some strength in private banks and mid-cap PSU banks. So while PNB, SBI may not show that immediate rebound, but there is clearly a momentum that is visible in names like Andhra Bank, Canara Bank, and of course the private banks.
Vineet, yesterday we saw FIs buy nearly 1,400 crore in index futures. Have all the short positions been cleared, covered?
Yes, they are net long now.
Okay. What about something like a BHEL? What has been the build-up that we've seen in BHEL, and what does it suggest the way forward will be for that stock?
I think BHEL is one of those stocks which in the first cut during that euphoria of April and May was obviously the one that people bought quite strongly, and of course there was that follow-on correction that we saw, which was also equally sharp. Going forward, I think one needs to keep track of the fundamental performance of the stock in terms of the order book of BHEL. So at this point in time, if I were to look at mid-cap portfolio, I would lean more towards a Kirloskar Oil Engines and an Cummins India and an EIL and Exide rather than a BHEL right away.
Okay. Vineet, we'll just come to you in a bit. Just stay with us. We need to address some earnings. In fact, NMDC is one of the biggest movers today after posting a very good set of numbers with an additional boost given by lower other expenses. So here's more from Narendra Kothari, the Chairman and Managing Director of NMDC, on the good quarter that went by for the company.
At the moment, yes, we pass entire royalty increase to consumer, but ultimately it will affect in the prices. The consumer will pay the market price. Market price will remain the same. We fix our price and then we charge the royalty. But definitely this all will have effect on the market. Our price are on a demand and supply position in the market. And whenever demands are there, we will do accordingly. So suppose the demands are not there, we have to reduce the price. Ultimately, whatever consumer can absorb the price, that much we can recover from them. And the consumer is bothered about the total price, including this base price, royalty and freight. Our export sales till the month of July is 8.96, 8,96,000, and domestic sale is 102.13. Total sales is 111 lakhs. No, exactly I don't know. This 60 crore rupees we have received in this quarter after the Supreme Court decisions, and now future also we will get some money. Whatever this money will depend upon, because it is an interest recovery. It is not any other thing. It is an interest part which on 80% of the amount which they are giving it, delayed money which NMDC is getting it. So it is only the interest part. So we have got at the moment is around 60 crores. It all depends upon how, if we get a fast payment, this amount will not come. If we get a delayed payment, then only the interest part will come. So this is basically, it is the interest which monetary committee is earning on our money. Per ton realization, our price is more or less remains same. It is slight increase. Say last year for similar period, our realization was 3,900 rupees. Now it is 4,000 rupees. So it is almost 100 rupees increase over last year. It is a 2% increase roughly.
Okay, that's the management of NMDC. Very strong margin performance this time around, and that's what's actually taken the stock up about 3%. But let's resume our conversation with Vineet Bhatnagar, the Managing Director of Phillip Capital. Vineet, what's your view on the Bank Nifty for the rest of the series? Because, last week, actually a couple of weeks ago, there was a fear that the Bank Nifty would slip below the 15,000 mark. But thankfully, that did not happen. Do you see banks perform in the next leg?
I would place my bets on that. Although one of the levels that we are looking at as a strong resistance for Bank Nifty as a sectoral index is 15,630, I think. And if that's what to be taken off, I think as a basket, this particular sector should do well. I think the pockets of strength are visible in the private banks for the last few days. And if the mid-cap PSUs provide that added Phillip, then I think it should really start moving well.
Vineet, which are the mid-caps which look interesting to you now? Say if someone has 1 month time horizon?
Actually, we are quite, quite positive on Tata Power, Adani Power, TTK Prestige, Asian Paints, LPG Petronet. I mentioned earlier Exide Industries, EIL.
Okay, that's a long list actually that you've given us. You spoke about the upside for this market and the fact that it could, scale up beyond that 7,800 level soon. But what about the downside? Is it protected at 7,450 or have the markers changed?
No, I think we should continue to look at 7,400 or 7,440, whatever was the previous low, as a strong support that should build in. I must point out that as far as the put protection is concerned, it is concentrated at 7,600 right now. The market participants have actually moved up their put protection from a lower strike of Nifty to as much as just 7,600. But technically 7,400, 7,440 should really hold.
Okay, Vineet, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. So that's the view from Phillip Capital, that the bias could be on the upside. And once we break the 78.30 level, 78.40, we could see some fresh longs being built up post those levels. For the